Welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather Corinne, and today we're going to be crocheting these adorable bunny cozies. They've got cute little ears on the front and a tail here on the back side. Simple, sweet, and fun. This video is designed as a visual tool to go along with the written pattern, which can be found on my blog and in my Etsy shop, both of which I'll link down below for you. We're only going to need a few supplies for this project today, and I'm going to go through those really quick, as well as link all of those down below in the description box for you. We're going to be using worsted weight yarn, a size G or 4mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle, and some scissors, and I'm going to use a stitch marker a little bit later, but that's not required. So let's go ahead and get started on this cozy. We'll begin with the cozy base, which is just a long rectangle that we're going to stitch together at the end. So we're going to place a slip knot on our hook with the bunny colored yarn of our choice. And then we're going to chain 35 chain stitches. This pattern is designed to fit a standard reusable Starbucks coffee mug that is size grande, but I've also been able to fit these on venti size mugs as well. They just stretch a little bit, but you can adjust the amount of chain stitches that you use to fit around the mug of your choice, and then just add one chain stitch. So 34 stitches fits around my mug, so we're chaining 35 chain stitches. So now we have our 35 chain stitches. We're ready to begin rows 1 through 12, and they're all going to be the same. We're going to single crochet in each stitch across. So our stitch count for every single row is going to be 34 single crochet plus a chain 1 at the end. So here I'm going to go ahead and start single crocheting into these chains until I reach the end of this row. Please excuse my nasally voice today. I've been a bit under the weather, but I really wanted to get this video out to you, so I hope you can bear with me. So here we are coming up on the last few stitches of this row. We should have 34 single crochet stitches at the end of the row, and then we'll chain 1 and turn the work around. And now we're just going to repeat this until we've reached the end of row 12, and we'll have 12 rows of 34 single crochet. So that's going to be both loops, single crochet in each stitch across. And I'll catch you back at the end of row 12. Here we are coming up on the end of row 12. I've got a couple of stitches left. So here's one, and after the last stitch, we'll chain 1 and then tie off with a long tail, and we'll be using that long tail to create the seam at the end. So next let's start working on the cute little ears. To begin with the ears, we're going to leave a long tail at the beginning because that beginning tail is going to be what we use to attach it to the cozy. So leaving a pretty long tail will create a slip knot for our hook. And we're going to chain 9 chain stitches for the base chain of the ears. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. For the first stitch, we're going to single crochet, then half double crochet in the next stitch, and then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So this is 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. We'll half double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and in this last stitch we're going to slip stitch. So that's 1/2 of the ear. So now we're going to chain 2 and turn the ear around, and then we're going to work the same stitches through the back side of those base chain stitches. So the chain 2 allows us to sort of wrap around and turn to begin the next row. So we're going to single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet in the next 3 stitches, so 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and the 3rd double crochet, half double crochet in the next one, single crochet, and then slip stitch into the last one, chain 1. Isn't this little ear so cute? So now we're going to snip off the top with just a long enough tail to weave in this end. So we'll take our handy dandy tapestry needle and weave this top end down through the back side of the ear. So we want to be mindful of that point at the top of the ear. So we just want to very gently stitch this through to the left ever so slightly and give it a gentle tug so that it's still pointed at the top. And then turn it around to the back side. And my favorite way to weave in ends is to run the tail down through maybe 3 or 4 stitches. Turn it and run it down the same stitches, only skipping 1 at the beginning to keep it nice and secure in there. and then snip off the excess tail, and you'll never see it again. So at this point, you're going to want to pause the video and rewind and make a second ear. And I'll catch you back in just a minute when we have 2 ears. Now we have our second ear. We're going to set these aside and crochet the cute little bunny tail. So switching to white yarn, we're going to make a magic circle. And we're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I've got 6 stitches in our magic circle. And we're going to pull this loose and tight to cinch up the center. And move on to round 2. Round 2, we're going to place 2 stitches in each stitch around, so we're going to increase in each stitch around. So we're going to start off in the first one and place 2 single crochet into the first stitch. And I prefer to use a stitch marker in the first one just to know exactly where I started. And then continue on placing 2 single crochet in each stitch until we get back to the stitch marker. So that's going to be a total of 12 stitches for round 2. Now that we're back to the stitch marker, we can pop the stitch marker out, and we're going to slip stitch into the stitch that the stitch marker was in, so the first stitch of the round. And then we'll tie off with a long enough tail to use to attach the tail to the cozy. And that tail is probably too long, but that's okay. I'm just going to pull this magic circle beginning tail tight to make sure that the center doesn't have a hole anymore. To make sure that the circle is nice and rounded off and clean edges, I'm going to use this tapestry needle to weave the tail in just slightly to the left. And that cleans up the edges just a little bit. So now we'll set the tail aside and work on assembling our cozy. We're going to create an invisible seam for the edges of our cozy. So you want to pick which side looks better as the front. I prefer this bottom portion of the beginning row to this side. So whichever side you like the best is going to be on the inside, and we're going to fold it in half. Using the long tail, we'll take our handy dandy tapestry needle and we'll start stitching up the seam. We can use a simple whip stitch or a back and forth stitch, whatever works best for you. I prefer the look of the whip stitch, and so that just means we're going to go over through both sides and pull through. Over, insert the needle through both sides, and pull through. And we're just going to continue on until we've reached the end. The only thing that you want to be very mindful of is that the top and the bottom are seamed together nicely so that it doesn't pull apart when you stretch the cozy onto your mug. Now that we've finished the seam, we can weave this end in. So I'm just gonna pull it up through a couple stitches to not be right on the edge there. Make a little knot and then weave this end in like normal. And then we'll just do the same thing for the other tail. If you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Your support allows me to continue creating this free content for you, so I really appreciate it. Now that the seam is complete, we can turn it right side out, and that seam looks pretty good from the back. We're going to place our little bunny tail in the center of that seam and use our handy dandy tapestry needle to attach it. So first I'm going to run the shorter tail through to the back side. And then we'll use the longer tail to secure the bunny tail to the cozy. This tapestry needle I'm using has a very small eye on it, but I do like that the needle is curved, so that's why I'm having so much trouble getting the yarn through the eye. And so we'll just work stitches through the outer edge of the bunny tail all the way around to keep it nice and secure. And I like using this curved needle so that you can run it towards the middle of the tail, if that makes sense, so that when you have the cozy on a mug and it's pulled a little tighter, you can't see where you attached the white yarn to the pink yarn. So you kind of want to run it through, but aim it towards the center of the bunny tail. Once the tail is nice and secure, I'm going to flip it inside out and double or triple knot these two tails together and snip off the excess yarn. And here's our cute little cotton tail. And next we'll attach the ears to the front side, so just make sure that it is centered on the tail before we place the ears where we would like them to be. And you can do them closer together or further apart depending on what kind of character you want to give to your bunny. And we're just going to use the same technique with the tapestry needle and the long tail to stitch them onto the front side of the cozy. The possibilities are really endless for customizing your bunny. I like the simple version, but you could also add a face, some little eyes, a nose, whiskers, a mouth, or maybe a bow or a bow tie. You really could make it your own or make a bunch of different versions. Once the ear is nice and secure, I'm going to flip it inside out and make a little knot on the back side. And then weave in the end. And now we'll just repeat for the second ear. Now we have both of our ears attached and our bunny cozy is ready for any further customizations, or it's complete depending on what you'd like. I love how this project turned out. The cute little tail and the ears just make me so happy, and it's a fun little spring pattern. I hope you enjoyed crocheting with me today. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, let me know what your bunny looks like, and I'll see you very soon with a new fun project.